Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us every Tuesday, talk a little recruiting. He's with us now. Shady, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing really well. You'd be proud of me. I asked Frank Wilson on Monday a recruiting question, how they're managing to keep this thing together and continue to recruit with less than a month now to the December signing period. I thought he gave a great answer. I'm curious just your perspective as someone who lives in that world where, Shea, we're not sure if LSU will have the permanent coach in place by December 3rd. So what do you do right now to keep these recruits engaged between now and December the 3rd?
Yeah, I was proud of you, Matt. Let me get that out of the way first.
All for you,
You've
Shea.
done well.
Thank you.
I usually save those praises for Hannegriff, who he likes it when I tell him he's doing a good job with recruiting. So, look, we don't have the Bayou Bash anymore, so he doesn't have to take the mic every signing day. I keep him abreast to it. But I like Frank's answer, and he talked about it a bit too in the interim, or his first press conference is interim, which is after practice, where, look, obviously they're going to recruit these guys. He's got great relationships with them. So do their position coaches. So do personnel staffers. All of that goes into a high school, prospect and his family feeling comfortable about committing to a college, and LSU in this case, but also said that taking care of the team and getting them to sort of rally around each other and everything was just as paramount, if not more, because so many of these recruits are buddies with guys on the team, right? Like they're a year younger or 2 years younger than the majority of the, kind of young guys we know in this program that are notable. And as Frank said, if those guys ask them, hey, what's it actually like up there beyond the coach speak? And they say, look, everything's good. We're grooving right along. Then they don't press the panic kind of meter themselves, the button themselves. So we're a little into week 2, I guess we'll call it, of the post Brian Kelly era. And to this point, no decommits. In fact, they added a commitment to get to 17 commits. We talked about that a week ago. But also, you've been on bye. Now they start games. And I think one thing that people are keeping an eye on is how the rest of this season goes. Because as you noted, everyone wants to talk, and rightfully so, about the transfer portal, which is coming in January, the playoffs, which start in mid-December, and quarterfinals right on New Year's Eve, relative to a coaching search and a timeline for it. And I think everyone's kind of operating under this reality that December 3rd to 5th, which you noted is the early signing period for high school recruits, unless you're naming a coach the day the season ends or something like that, that this one might go beyond that. And I think that's one of the reasons Frank Wilson is in place as interim head coach. He can keep not just the roster together, but when it comes time for these guys to sign in a month, the majority of this class together.
We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to welcome Our Lady of the Lake to AFR LSU. As the championship health partner of LSU athletics, the physicians at Our Lady of the Lake serve the champions on the field in the purple and gold, but that same level of care is available to you and your family. I've been a proud supporter of Our Lady of the Lake my entire life, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom as a high schooler to helping so many of the fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital, to my own son being a patient now at that very Children's Hospital, and my primary care physician, Dr. Kurt Chastain, at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Our Lady of the Lake has been a part of my medical journey my entire life, and you can learn more as well. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Let's talk about some of the guys in this class who we're starting to hear rumblings about. One is Havon Finney. We talked to Havon Finney Sr. when he committed the cornerback out of L.A., said in no uncertain terms that Corey Raymond's a giant reason why Havon is committed to LSU. What's the update there on Finney, Shea?
Yeah, so this is a kid coming out of Sierra Canyon in LA. So being a California prospect geographically makes him a more interesting case study here than a lot of the Louisiana guys, right? Or border state guys you traditionally recruit that are within a few 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive. And they look at LSU almost like a home state team alongside, whether it's Mississippi or Texas, whatever it might be. This is the kid from furthest away. So you kind of have to see here, okay, what is the loyalty to the commitment, or does it stick, given you're from that far away? And you hit the nail on the head. And look, we caught up with Havon Finney Sr. a week ago after Brian Kelly was fired, and he repeated exactly what he said to you then, which is Corey Raymond is a big part of this. It's a big piece for Havon because that's his position coach. Corey's got a track record of development that these guys buy into as a piece of committing to LSU. And right now, we don't know if Corey Raymond will be on the staff moving forward. He certainly would belong on a list of maybe a handful of names, both whether it's your GM or on-field coaches, that you would wonder, hey, look, there would be some advantage to keeping this person around, and Corey would fit into that. But at the same time, he's got to explore options. So Havon Senior said, look, no visits are scheduled yet. Michigan is still the team that's really recruited him the most beyond LSU and committed LSU over Michigan. And then said in the post-Kelly kind of era here, 2 weeks in, that a lot of other teams have started calling. Nebraska, he said, most notably is kind of reaching out daily saying, hey, look, we've got a spot for you. So this happens when you have a coaching change. It's expected. But right now, getting Corey Raymond back and having him in place here at LSU pays off in moments like these where kids are committed from across the entire country and don't balk at a coaching change if it doesn't involve Corey Raymond.
Shea, what about, you mentioned the border states, what about Bryson Cooley, the offensive lineman out of Mississippi? There's some rumblings there as well that he may be trending toward a flip.
Yeah, I just said all that. I'm going to contrast myself immediately here and give you the opposite news on a border state kid. But Bryson Cooley's an offensive lineman they've had committed out of Mississippi, out of the Pine Belt from Laurel. So PJ Woodland came from Hattiesburg. They had Tristan Keys from a while at Hattiesburg, and now you've got a Laurel kid in Bryson Cooley, and he committed to LSU over Bama, over the in-state schools. So was considered a pretty highly sought after prospect, still is. But now with, I think, the uncertainty of the staff, in his case, Brad Davis, who offensive line coach, he says he's still keeping up with daily. He's got a lot of close relationships with some personnel staffers at LSU that all sort of led to that commitment, and it's just a few-hour drive from his hometown. That said, now that we're, again, a month from signing day, all of these guys are really having to think hard about where they stand. And him being a Mississippi kid, Mississippi State has always been heavily on him with Jeff Levy and that staff. That was the final school he visited beyond LSU before he did kind of come to a decision and pick LSU. And now Steve Wiltfong just went ahead and made the move to switch his pick from LSU onto Mississippi State. So it appears things are trending that way for an in-state kid. But again, some attrition here is expected. I think that the fact that you've made it this long into things without any flips or decommits is probably a good sign for the overall view of the class and how it might look in a month.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. So we expect attrition. I mean, that of course would be common with any coaching change like this. What about additions between now and December 3rd? Who are we keeping an eye on?
I think you go quickly to Auburn, who just fires Hugh Freeze. And we talked about this a few weeks ago when Jace Matthews, the 5-star receiver, as well as Braylon Womack, their 5-star safety commit. Both these kids are out of Mississippi, and both had visited LSU. They had been recruited heavily by LSU. Most notably, probably Jace Matthews was really high on LSU before he committed to Auburn. But when he committed to Auburn, Tristan Keys was committed to LSU, and they've been the number 1 and 2 receivers, not just in Mississippi, but the whole country. Right now, Matthews is 1, Tristan Keys is 2. Tristan Keys, as I said earlier, no longer committed to LSU. So, yes, they've got a few in-state receivers, with many would consider the 3 best seniors in the state at wide receiver, college prospect-wise, are committed to LSU right now. But they'll take a swing for the fences with guys like that. And look, here in town, Catholic High, you've got Blaine Bradford. He's still committed to Ohio State. There's others out there that certainly keep recruiting. But then I have to kind of catch myself and remind myself, Matt, is that Auburn's not in that much of a different position than LSU's in right now. And it's very tough to convince a kid like that, who's quite coveted, to switch his commitment right now to a school that also doesn't know who the next head coach is or who his position coach or OC might be. So bit of a waiting game here. Obviously, you go all out, you recruit them, you don't stop. But there is some questions that you simply just can't answer, and that makes things it puts a few more hurdles in front of you between now and December.
Shea, one follow-up since you mentioned Bradford. Do you know if he is – so at Catholic, they do not allow anyone to graduate early. So Bradford will not be a mid-year. Do you know if he plans to sign in December, or could part of the pitch be, hey, just wait until February?
See, Matt, this is why you get to talk to Frinkles, because you think of things like that, and you're really deep into the recruiting game now.
I am not. That is not true. I just happen to know about rules at Catholic High. That's all. Singular.
Well, with our powers combined, here we go.
There we go.
Yes, you're right on Catholic, right? So that was never expected. Now we've seen this before. Look, it's been 4 years. Makes it seem like a long time since Kelly and that coaching change, but there's been all these changes, and now people just forget about February signing day. But what we've seen with heavy hitters, guys like this that are committed to programs where a head coach is fired, were at least being recruited in his case by head coach, he's committed to Ohio State, that they could sometimes say, hey, look, I'm just going to wait till February and kind of see how the dominoes fall here and then go forward with my decision. I think that will be quite telling, right? If he chooses, the Bradford family chooses to say, hey, let's just give you a little bit more time to think on things, that it wouldn't be as rock solid as it's been to this point, where there's really been no speculation as to a flip, and they've kept things pretty quiet. So while I think LSU did have some momentum, Matt, like me and you both felt like, okay, this will come down to it. I don't mean to speak for you as a Catholic High guy, but I do think at the same time that you have to look at it and admit, hey, one team's out here ranked like number 1 in the country, and the other's having to go through a coaching change, and we don't even know who that coach is. So as much as a player like that would have familiarity with LSU, they're sort of in the same boat as a guy like Jace Matthews, where you just don't know what's next, whether it's Corey Raymond staying or who your head coach is.
Before you go, one more quickly, Shea. Any update on Lamar Brown? It seemed pretty quiet last week when we discussed it, but anything there?
Yeah, I mean, look, you got past the A&M game, and you make this decision and kind of overshadowed that you had lost that game, and they were the other team recruiting him. No visits have been scheduled yet. Miami and A&M were the two that have been heavily on him. But he's a guy that is pretty close with Frank Wilson. And until we get a few more games in here, I think, or at least see how this is sort of trending over the next couple of weeks with him making visits elsewhere or not, I think that will be telling. But right now, nothing to report relative to him trending anywhere else.
Just wild. You still got 4 games to go, and it just doesn't even feel like it. The rest of the season has just become such an ancillary piece with obviously Brian Kelly's firing. We'll be following Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Y'all get him on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Shea Dixon. Thank you, man.
Yeah, 3rd of the season. I guess I got to go back to work now. All right, Matt. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. We'll see you next week. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.